Hey everyone, so here's the video explanation of worksheet 10.2a. So remember, whenever we multiply square roots, technically what happens is they both go underneath the square root, and then you multiply them, and then we all know the square root of 4 is 2. Okay? Now, after doing a bunch of these, you should be able to jump straight from this to the answer. Same thing here. Technically, they both go underneath the same square root. Because they're both underneath square roots, you can put them underneath the same square root. And then you can do the multiplication. 2 times 3 is 6. And in the 6, well, you can't break up the 6, right? That's just square root of 6. Okay? So that's the first two. Remember, we cannot have square roots in the denominator. Whenever there's square roots in the denominator, what we need to do is multiply the top and the bottom by whatever square root is in the bottom. Okay? Because then we do this. We know on top we have both 3 times 5 underneath the square root. We know on the bottom we have 5 times 5, and again both of those are underneath the square root. If we simplify the top, we get 15. If we simplify the bottom, you get square root of 25. And then again, we know this square root of 25 is 5. And then the top does not simplify. But the important thing is we took out the square root out from underneath the bottom. Okay? Now again, at some point, we're going to have to get comfortable with square root of 5, square root of 5. Jump straight to 5. Don't put them together and then don't put 25, because it just gets tedious. Okay, I'm kind of showing you this just so you can make sense of it. Some of you will be able to make that jump a lot faster than others. But for now, I will write it. But I'm going to eventually get to the point where I'm going to be skipping some steps. I'll say it, but I won't write it. So here again, the square root's in the denominator. We cannot leave a square root in the denominator. So we multiply the top and the bottom by the square root that's in the denominator, which is square root of 5. Multiply those. Combine them both underneath one square root, the 2 and the 5. Combine the 2 5s underneath one square root. And then on the top we have square root of 10. On the bottom we have square root of 25. The top does not simplify, and then the bottom simplifies into 5. Again, the important thing is we get rid of the square root from the denominator. Okay. 5 and 6, same idea. We have 5. There's a square root in the denominator, so I'm going to multiply the top and the bottom by the square root of 2. The top is a little bit... the top, we cannot do what we've been doing. Because see, this is the square root of 3 and that's the square root of 5. So you can put them both underneath one square root. This is not a square root. So all we do here is rewrite it as 3 times the square root of 2. And then this, I've already simplified this up here. I know this equals 2, so I'm just going to put 2 down here. Okay, I kind of skipped this step. If you need to see how this simplifies again, just rewind it back to this. Number 6. Again, we cannot have square roots in the denominator, so you multiply the square root of 3 to the top and the bottom because that's what's in the denominator. Again, you cannot take the 5 underneath the square root, so the top just simplifies into 5 square root of 3, and then the bottom, remember this is just 3. I'll do it over here for you guys. Remember, square root of 3 times the square root of 3. Because they're both square roots, you can put them both underneath. And that becomes square root of 9, which is 3. There it is. So we want to avoid having to rewrite all this. Just square root of 3 times the square root of 3. There's 2 of them. So it comes out. Okay.